Check this out. You ready? Hello. How about that?
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's better.
Oh, it's better?
Yeah.
But we don't need them.
We don't need them.
We don't need them.
Wow, this is like
I've never done this before.
robots realizing they can just live.
I don't, it's true. It's like the Matrix. I just unplugged myself from the radio experience. And now I'm just literally in a cafe being stared at by people having a conversation.
This is,
weird.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had some weird ones. This is off to the races.
We have, yeah. I actually prefer this, if that's all right.
I don't have a choice.
No, this is better.
You're the guest and you're
because also sometimes like when you're I've become very aware of my own voice and how it's.
You're a bit late for that.
How it's, I know.
It's like you built a career out of singing and you're like, fuck, I'm really self-aware now of my voice.
No, but actually, you know what? There is a phenomenon when you're on the mic and you've got, you've got like a really high definition microphone.
I'm sorry, I can't do it. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Yeah.
It makes you feel much more self-conscious about what you're singing, how you're articulating. And a lot of singers actually perform better when they're performing on a much lower definition mic and maybe over a set of speakers rather than hearing it super high def in their headphones. So as a producer, kind of one technique you can use to get a singer sort of out of their head and performing more sort of raw and viscerally is just by giving them like a handheld mic.
Just demystify it a bit.
Yeah, it just puts a few layers between them and then they can just let go.
Well, here's a question for you. As somebody who, I mean, you're a great collaborator, but when you're making an album, you can do everything yourself. I mean, you're comping your own vocals, not that you're sitting there with an engineer, right, going, okay, line me up. How do you sort of, how do you get yourself into a place where that you're feeling it to the point where you're going to capture, especially on an album like this, which is so, compared to your last album, it's so about what you're saying and how you're saying it through your performance.
Yeah.
How did you prepare to record vocals on this and get yourself there?
Well, each song is obviously different, but where it became apparent that I was more of a main character on this record was when we actually mixed it. And I co-mixed it with John Castelli. And John Castelli kept turning my vocals up. And I just initially was quite uncomfortable with it, to be honest. And I kept sort of going back and forth between his versions and my versions with all my friends and being like, I just feel like it's missing. And they're all like, no, it's way better. Now we can actually hear what you're fucking saying. And so actually the impact of what I do, like as a vocalist, is often kind of, when I'm producing, I often kind of just include it as part of the instrumentation.
Yeah, this is the challenge of being a producer and an artist, is that you are actually producing yourself through the filter of perception, not through feeling. You're like, how am I going to be perceived? Maybe I need, and it's like no producer would turn you down, James.
Exactly.
No one, except you.
I think that is unfortunately the truth. It's not just confidence though. Sometimes it's because I prefer the way it sits in a composition. Like I might just think, okay, well, I love these strings and I love these, this bass line, I love this. So I'm not going to turn all that down in favor of like the lead vocal because I love what I've made. And in actual fact, I sort of forget sometimes the kind of like effect that has on the listener. And if anything, what separated my very early records, like for example, like the self-titled and maybe the second record from, let's say, like a Friends That Break Your Heart or kind of anything, like those records felt more like I was part of the tapestry.
You start the album with Walkout Music, which is one of the most beautiful pieces of music you've ever made.
Thank you.
It's like a fucking dystopian wedding dance.
Right. Yeah.
First dance at like the dystopian wedding of the year.
In my head, it was Yachty walking out of that festival, and I was imagining that as a sort of like, when I actually made it, it wasn't for this album. I was thinking about it for Bad Cameo.
Right.
But it just kind of, there was a point in this record where the directive kind of changed. And me and Jamelia were talking about, you know, just influences on the record, but also, you know, references for how it should be. And she was like, look, I don't know about all these other references, like the, I don't know, Talk Talk, Spirit of Eden, or Kid A, or Thriller, or these perfect albums that I was thinking about. What's Going On, Marvin Gaye, you know. And she was just like, I think the Colour in Anything probably contains within it the answer to what you're looking for. And actually it's within you and your own catalogue. And there isn't something better than that to get to where I think you want to go. And I think that was true, honestly. And
that's a powerful statement, you know, as well, because what it does is it forces you to take a look at yourself, probably for the first time.
Potentially to also just to get you out of this thing of like, how can I reach outside for validation or you know, for inspiration, like looking at other things that you think are perfect and going, well, but it's like none of the people who made those things probably think they're perfect.
No.
As much as we might think they are.
I love how honest, how you let people be honest with you about your music, and I just really appreciate the vulnerability that you open yourself up to. I mean, I think people hear your music and probably come to the assumption that you've got it all figured out. Like, who makes this record and doesn't know who they are and what they want to say? Mm-hmm. But every time you show up, I feel like you're looking for answers. You're as lost as you've ever been, in a great way.
I think that creatively, it's like, it's sort of that you know, when Bowie was talking about having your feet just a few inches off the bottom of the pool. That's where you're at your most kind of, I don't know, it's where you want to be creatively, right? Yeah. Never fully knowing where you are. I think that is a nice kind of outlook on it. And, you know, I think the album cover
is the only funny part of the record. It's fucking hilarious. It's brilliant. I'm assuming you're incorporating that in the live show at some point when you come out.
Yeah, yeah.
A little fucking supporting yourself with a plate spinning contest.
Yeah. I you know what, actually I did learn to spin plates when I was younger.
No, I can tell you're serious about it. Look at the way you're holding your hands. I mean, that's real technique right there.
But there was a man who's a professional plate spinner, which I didn't know is a thing.
So that's not doctored.
No, these are real plates.
And
I did a full shoot. You'll see the videos.
I can't wait.
But the this album cover is my favorite album cover I've ever done, and the reason is because it was such a perfect encapsulation of what my last couple of years was like.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, you know, in that year, in I guess 2023, 2024. I was pissing off a huge amount of people. Mm-hmm. I'm lucky to be here, to be honest. But you know, that's
I called you the day.
No, I mean on Earth.
Oh, on Earth.
No. I do mean that.
No, I called you the day that you started to talk your talk, and we had a conversation about it.
Yes,
remember?
Yes,
and
I do
was
remember.
Like, go.
And I really appreciated that support. I think, you know, I am joking. I do feel lucky to be having this conversation, but I also understand that, like, what I was saying at the time and what I still stand by and what I'm saying now, is complex, and it involves kind of, there's levels, right, to it, and the thing is, you need to be able to generate a platform to be able to say those things, and I had the privilege to say them and be okay. But ultimately it came with it, you know, like after that, you do feel the tap turn off in huge amounts of the parts of the industry. And so I think
it's tangible. It was a real thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. When they want to turn the light off, they can turn the light off.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. And you can feel it. And I think, you know, in those 2 years, you know, I started managing, I left my management, I left my label, I started managing myself. So I was on the phone 24/7, So building a team, you know, starting to reassemble a team, figuring out like who I trust, who I want to be around.
Let me ask you a question, because sometimes the order of things is out of it's not how you intended it. So you say something that you feel in the moment is valid to you.
Yeah.
Some people get it, some people don't. Then you're like, oh, now I'm sort of, I have to figure this out now.
It set off an avalanche.
It sets it off.
It
right?
really did.
So did you have to figure out kind of what you wanted and ultimately how you wanted to move forward with your life in real time? Because it's not like you sat down for 6 months, figured it out, and then decided to announce it with a fucking TikTok.
No. No.
Like, now I got to figure this shit out. Like, how am I going to keep doing this?
And also people were asking for answers, you know, and so I was positing a question, not an answer. And I was positing a problem, and I was diagnosing the problem and talking about it in a way that seemed to be resonating with people. I mean, it went so wide that suddenly I felt a responsibility to actually come up with answers. And
what was it really, James? If you can think back on what prompted that message in the first place, what was the motivation? What really were you trying to get to?
I mean, I was seeing with pure clarity what the kind of the exploitation of the music industry in a nutshell. But I was seeing it through the lens of the new industry of social media being the kind of primary driver for people's, so basically being ping-ponged around different platforms that don't pay you, right?
We feed them for free.
Yeah, we feed the platform and we give, you know, we get exposure, and then and the exposure apparently is enough. But it's
You know,
like
really funny
if there's no final destination where you do get paid, then it doesn't matter how much exposure you get. And a lot of artists are basically experiencing, okay, you get promotion here, you get exposure here, you get a little bit here, you get a little bit here, but it's like, to what end? I think what artists find difficult as well is that so much of the, like, let's say in the run up to promoting something, right? So much of it is paid in advance. So like PR, whatever it is you're doing is cash, right? But if you don't succeed, those people just get that cash and you get nothing. There's no kind of, like, my sort of proposition for the industry at that time was the equity side, which is that, you know, if I do well, you do well. And rather than being, you know, they're a sort of predatory industry around artists who want to become successful, just being people who just pay wages to everyone who, you know, could chop a video together or do with it. It's like, no, just give them a cut of the song. Because we should all be then working after that.
Invested in the right thing.
To push that rock to the top of the hill rather than, you know, artists just being out of pocket and waiting for something to come through, which it virtually never does.
On a platform that, again, is just going to change overnight anyway and make it really hard for you to
exactly.
work with. Yeah.
And then, you know, it's like looking at Instagram promotion, you know, it's like, oh, boost. It's like, I mean, the actual money that goes into that never comes back. Like, it's like every single thing, whether it's like all these different platforms doing the same thing. So the album is incredibly organic, and this, you know, in terms of even just like, you know, yeah, like the show is me trying to, I mean, I'm using machines on the stage, but the point is that obviously it centers around what I do naturally. And honestly, I had Rob with me as well, who's an amazing musician. He's obviously in my band anyway, but we did this like 2-piece thing. I can't wait for people to see it.
I'm getting back to this recorded body of work. It's like somehow you've found a balance, a really delicate balance between the rewards of being human and why we still do it, and this innate sadness of modern life and how there's deep disconnection that seems to be occurring around us all the time, and the fact that we're kind of getting accustomed to it. And I feel like, to me at least, listening to the album, like those are quite central themes to this record.
They are. Death of Love is, you know, was written at a time where I could sense people's empathy for each other dwindling, and it started to become very, very, you know, scary, to be honest. The internet became quite a scary place. Just in terms of where the world was going and where I could see, because it's like, have you ever had a conversation in real life that was ever like that? I don't know if,
What?
well, just like the kinds of conversations you see online all the time.
No.
Kind of anger and vitriol. No. I don't think, I'm not sure if I've had a conversation in such bad faith as I've seen online. Anyway, so that song really sprung up from that. I mean, that was written about 4 years ago.
Wow, interesting. So this was during the time when you were probably feeling most disenfranchised by it all. So you're searching for a different kind of answer.
I think it was just during the pandemic when everything just reached a sort of heated kind of.
Well, that's all we had, right? It's the only way we're connecting. And so we saw every side of it come out. And to your point, in the shadows where you can exercise sides of you that you just shouldn't.
And the algorithm is just promoting constantly rage, you know, and it wasn't necessarily the fault of everybody as a collective consciousness that when something is completely incentivizing that type of behavior and kind of interaction, then that's what we get. And of course it would be. So
you're just drawn into a black hole, right?
Yeah. And I think that, you know, things like, you know, the rest of the record though is the whole album's not about that. It's just, I think this record is, you know, to encapsulate it into maybe a phrase would be love in a time of chaos. And I think I was struggling to reconcile what it feels like to be someone with their own experience, with their own life, their love, their friends, their passions, their depression, their whatever it is, you know, that you're going through at the time, with the collective anguish and the collective experience that's going on in the world. And the things that happened over the last 4 years that have been from outside, that you have to reconcile and say, you know, how much do I interface with it? How complicit am I in this? How much can I block off consciously and subconsciously and ethically, and how much do I have to engage, given that all of that information is being pumped directly into my hand? You know, which is not the best turn phrase maybe, but you know what I'm saying. So so what I'm saying is that what I'm saying is that that's a difficult thing to do.
I want to get back to the plate spinning of it all. How do you learn how to spin plates efficiently and without absolute disaster?
You can't.
Constantly.
You can't.
Like, how many plates did you have to go through before you really felt like, and eventually also, there's something very deep about this experience, because no matter how successful you are, the plate, it's all going to end the same way.
That's right. That is right. Those plates are inevitably going to spin. If you don't keep them going, they're going to fall off and smash on the floor, which they did. There'll be a video documenting
Many
that.
plates.
Yeah.
Boxes and boxes of plates.
Boxes of plates, yeah. And yeah, like I say, like it was a metaphor for all these things I was doing. As I was getting to earlier, I was becoming an advisor to all these different companies that I felt were the sort of, and still do feel like Indify, Vault, all these things. To me, they're the next phase of the music industry. Now that the kind of majors are finding new shapes and, you know, disassembling, reassembling, and you're getting a much more independently driven music industry, which is great. And that's, as I said it would be, and I hoped it would be. And I was also starting my own platform, which is, I can't talk about right now, but I will later.
You'll come back, talk about it?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And then, you know, I just, I was making the album, and I was trying to be a good boyfriend, dog dad, person trying to figure out my life.
And you moved. Can I say
You know.
that? I mean, you moved as
And
well.
I moved country.
Yeah. Moved home.
I moved home, which was great. But yeah, there's probably more things. I guess leaving label management, managing myself. Yeah, it was just
Quite a lot.
crazy. It was a crazy amount of stuff to be doing at once, and it was too much, honestly. Which is why we pushed the album back by a year. But that, when I look at that, to say I was spinning plates, but also sort of conducting at the same time, is what that looks like to me.
What have you learnt from moving into these new spaces? Like you've been on Vault now for what, a couple of years? Like, what have you learnt about having this kind of direct to fan engagement? Like I subscribed the day you announced it,
Thank you.
of course, and I'm still a subscriber. And so I hear from you fairly regularly.
Yeah.
I always get excited and then I realize it's not you. I feel like it's like music cameo.
It is me though.
It's like, but it's not.
But you know, I'm writing the text.
Yeah, but it's the same text.
You mean it's you? Not it's not me too directly to you.
No, it's not. Whenever
But
I
it
see
is.
James Blake come up, I would like it to say, "Hey Zane, been a minute. I'm in LA next week. Fancy a pint." But what I
Yeah.
get is like, "Hi everyone, I'm releasing a limited edition
Yeah.
fucking coffee mug on
Yeah.
Monday. Would you like it? Sign up here." And I go, "I do want the coffee mug, but I would like to have a pint with my friend too." So I don't understand
And
why.
I have seen that response
I'm not surprised.
in the back end of Vault, but
I just didn't
it's
understand
I just
why
don't know
it
if
had to
that's
be either or. I thought that it would be additive. I thought I'm going to keep my friendship
Yeah.
and get Vault. I didn't
Yeah.
realize when I signed up to Vault, I would be losing my friend in the process.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
might have not done it.
But that's capitalism.
Honestly, wow, you've really learned some shit, haven't you? Boy, they broke you, huh?
Yeah.
They fucking broke you.
LA just destroyed me.
hurt you?
I have no soul anymore.
Wow.
It's gone.
That is capitalism, you're right. It's a sacrifice and a trade.
But I appreciate your subscription.
More than my friendship, clearly.
Thank you for your subscription. You know what's been great is that, you know, like this week, I was in LA and then we did a listening party for the Vault members, right? And we played them the album, and I went and said hello to everyone and like had a big old chat at the end, and like they'd never met me before, and we were just sort of, it was just great. They had all these questions and it felt very, very relaxed because I already know half of them.
Yeah.
Because we've already been chatting on this thing, and it felt very like I've never really had that before. Like, because social media is so kind of parasocial, and it's sort of like your Instagram is sort of like it's the quality of the comments is totally different, right? So it's like, you know, somebody might just say like Zaddy,
Often.
and I go and I just, what do I do? Do I respond?
Oh no, you
Is
don't,
that-
you
is
don't
that a
respond. I'm
friendship?
Zaddy. I respond, but yeah,
That's
and
true.
your version of that.
That's true. Am I not?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not old enough.
No,
Okay.
you're not at Unk level yet.
I think I might be.
No, you're not at Unk level yet. Soon, no.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Goat status.
So, whatever the comment is, right?
Goat.
Okay, so someone says goat, right?
With a goat emoji.
Goat emoji. Obviously, the connection is undeniable from that.
Obviously, you're also undeniably a goat.
I just
So
stop it.
yeah, it's parasocial.
It's parasocial. Zane's in the comments saying goat.
Goat.
I don't know what to say, to be honest. It's not even just that. It's like anything.
Yeah.
I like Instagram just feels like,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
any of those places.
It actually personalizes the most personal relationships in your life. I have family and friends who know me better than anybody in the world who comment on my post, and I'm like, what do I fucking say to that? Mm-hmm. Like,
Yeah, we're going to call them out in your Apple show. I mean,
That's
that's
right.
probably the only interaction they have with you, isn't it? Looking at your videos.
don't make your problem my problem, mate. I'm a good friend.
I
don't
imagine-
fucking sacrifice friendship for capitalism.
I imagine these, people back home.
Mm.
God, he sounds Australian.
Fuck you, fuck off.
What's happening? He's become so LA.
He's so LA, and his voice has changed, and now he thinks he's
Wearing
fucking
gold glasses
Australian
now.
Mark Ronson. No one knows where he's from.
He's got these rings. We don't remember that. We don't remember him wearing fancy jewelry.
I've been to your houses.
Does he still love us, do you think? Have you heard from him I haven't heard from him in 5 years.
These are the questions I want people to ask.
but he's talking also to these famous people. Is he? And now he's famous. Like, is he too big to come home? Does he remember even where he's from? I'm sure there are. I'm sure they're not saying that.
It's possible they are.
I was just imagining.
I think that all the time about you. And genuinely, I'm like, wow, where the fuck is James gone? He came in, set fire to the industry, fucked off, back to London, and now all I get is fucking limited edition 7-inch demo coming Thursday. I'm just grateful we're still here, and I now get to listen to this with everybody else when I need it. And we need this record, man. We need someone who's going to, and you're not alone. Well, you've got some real generational peers right now. Rose is doing this.
Oh, yeah.
Florence's album is unfucking believable. Like, people need to remember that record exists right now. Because that is like Old Religion, that song. Jesus. I mean, there's some people who are really out here saying amazing, brave, amazing shit. So as much as it probably felt like you were on your own for a bit after, whatever that was in 2024 when you started that ball rolling, it must be nice to know that actually the real ones are still here and still want to work with you. I mean, you don't have any problem finding great people to work with and continually.
No, I'm incredibly lucky in that way, and also, I never felt like I was on my own in terms of what I was saying. There's lots of people, and by the way, not even 50th on the list of. I mean, I'm all right. I am so far down the list of people who've said the same things. I'm like, there's so many articles. There's so many musicians who've spoken out about things in this industry, and I'm by no means the first, and hopefully won't be the last. But the in terms of music and making it, I always, I'm always grateful people like Rosalia exist. I mean, there is only one, obviously, but just watching her interviews about this last record, you can just sense the artistry sort of just pouring out of her. I mean, it's like
she's studying student.
Yeah, it's amazing. She's amazing.
I'm going to super serve my curiosity.
But she's also a teacher in a way, in the way she's doing it. It's kind of, it's broadcasting a sort of a frequency to other people that says you can do this, you can take risks, you can challenge yourself, you can be, and you can be truly great, and you can be like one of, if not the best singer on the planet, and just still fuck around and have a great time.
Yeah, carry it and just be thoughtful and cool about it.
And then go and sell out 30,000 cap, like whatever, or like, you go to a Rosa, she puts on a gig and it looks like
I know.
It looks like a national protest. You know what I mean? That's insane.
I know. So I know you were working with Dave on Dave stuff, and then obviously Dave's on this record too, and that makes total sense because again, you only really collaborate with people that kind of makes sense on every single level. How's that experience been working with him? Because I love him. We all love him, and he's like you. He's only going to move when he's ready. It's all very purposeful and deliberate, and
he's a one-off, complete one-off, just total. When he's been working on something and he comes back in and he shows you what he's done, and he just, the song's playing and he's just going, yeah, so I've just got this thing, and then he starts doing it and he raps the whole thing from start to finish, and you go, like, what? Like, how did you do that? It's completely, the depth of writing from him is astonishing. I think sometimes I'm like, there's just the gravity of what he says and how much thought he's put into it, and it's like, that's why Dave records can't come that often. They're just, people are like, oh, come on, man, drop an album. It's like,
it's not a drop.
No, we're not. This is a delivery of like a unbelievably special thing that that doesn't get made in a night. When you love something a lot, and it's obviously very personal to you, and it is for every artist, and then you then are put in touch with the reality of what you're going to have to do to actually like show it to people.
Yeah. Learn how to spin plates for a start.
Well, it's it's just a deeply impersonal and kind of like tech-driven process, right? So, and I think this is kind of what one of the I'd say amendments I made to some of the first statements I made about streaming and payment and all that kind of stuff. Was that in actual fact, about a year later, I sort of came to the realization that the streaming, the delivery of music in that format might not actually be worth more money than that. Because it's so shit. It's so like, compared to buying, like if let's say we go like that, and culture's just back to like buying vinyl and bringing it home. And
your question is, are we really going to put that on wax? Are we going to press that? Are we going to stand by that decision when it's actually something physical we have to go through a process, as opposed to just
it wouldn't be
dropping it on the
200,000 songs a
internet?
day if you had to press into vinyl.
That's
like,
undeniable.
And not only that, but like, and so yes, the quality control becomes vastly less when all it is literally upload. That's why live music is now such a sort of hot commodity in a way. Like watching someone live is so far away from the phone and streaming, but it's not that far away from a vinyl that was pressed through an analog. Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
I do.
It went straight through a tape machine onto vinyl. That actually isn't that far away, because it's a literal, it's a literal sort of pressing of that exact moment into that. Whereas because of the amount of digitization, the amount of kind of like, and then you're listening to it in this way, you are actually very disconnected from it. I think the future just looks bleak for like recorded music, but it actually looks very bright for live music. I'm obsessed with this album. Like it is my favorite album I've ever made. I know every artist says that, but I think this is,
you can stand on that. It's my favorite album you've ever made.
To me, this is Colour in Anything too, but an evolved and concise version. And I think it's the strongest possible foot I could have put forward. But my connection with an audience happens in the room. And it's why Vault is so special. It's why my gigs are so special. It's why I get up in the morning to really do, like to make music. It's the ultimate destination for it is in front of you. And I can do that with confidence because I spent 25 years doing it.
What I think this album is going to really, really make very clear and evident to people, now that you are aware of it, is that even with the most minimal of accompaniment, you can hold our attention in the most special way. This is a real compliment, like genuine compliment. Like, you've now found this relationship with your writing and your music. You're just like, I know how to take you there now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not just going to sing the song. Like, I'm going to hold it. And that's like Buckley shit. That's like, oh shit, he was somewhere else. I saw him live. He was somewhere else.
Absolutely right. And they said about Mahalia Jackson that when Mahalia was performing, she was performing to God. And the audience were watching her. Were watching that conversation. She wasn't necessarily performing to them. I
love that.
Would say that, every performer is different. Some people are, it's almost like a Venn diagram, some people are performing more to the audience and less. So I don't know where I sit on that personally, but I know that like when I'm on stage, I'm really just sort of lost in the frequencies. I'm not really sort of particularly thinking about how I connect in that way, you know, and ideally I'm helping people connect with themselves more than with me. And I think that's sort of how my music generally is.
Very much so. I think that's why people are also drawn to you as a collaborator and want you to touch their music so much, is because, you know, you are in service to some experience really at the end of the day that belongs to everybody. I mean, I always think musicians get the best side of the trade because you get to learn the most and you get to have the experience of creating and releasing something, but we do get something really wonderful out of it if we allow ourselves to lean into it, you know, and that's certainly the case with this record, because you are somewhere else on this. It's like you have absolutely taken off any of the self-imposed barriers or restrictions you may have had toward devastating us and decided, you know what, this is what it is.
Yeah.
These are trying times, and this album will reflect that in the most raw and real way possible.
Yes, and also trying times is also the most kind of like it's the biggest understatement of where we're at possible, and that's kind of, that comes with an English sort of sarcasm to it as well. You know, in the way of like, you know, the absolute worst thing can be happening in England. You go, trying times.
Yeah, let's keep it light, mate.
Yeah,
Let's keep it light.
and you just get on with it.
That's what my friend does all the time. He'll take us into like the depths of the darkest, doomiest conversation pit. And just when we're literally about to like go and tuck ourselves away behind closed doors and not come out for 24 hours, he'll just go, anyway, keep it light, mate. Let's keep it light. Let's keep it light. Let's keep it light. He always does the same thing. Let's keep it light.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, fuck.
Yeah. I don't feel any responsibility to keep it light, but I think that's a funny thing to say.
Obviously.
No.
Oh man, I'm so glad to see you. I'm so happy. I didn't know whether you were going to make another album per se, or you were just going to dabble in Vault for the rest of your life and just keep it light.
Keep texting my mates.
Oh yeah, give me your actual fucking phone number.